Hello, everyone. I'm Elena, your host for today's lesson, and I am absolutely delighted that you have joined me. If this is your first time visiting the channel, I want to extend a warm welcome. We upload a brand new English learning video every single day, meticulously designed to help you improve your proficiency, enhance your natural delivery, and build real, unshakable confidence in English. In today's episode, we are going to transcend basic listening practice. You are going to actively build your speaking skills, significantly expand your vocabulary, and learn how to articulate your daily life with precision and sophistication. Because today, we are diving deep into a topic that is fundamental for every English learner who aspires to sound like a native speaker: narrating your entire day, moving from simple descriptions to advanced, reflective storytelling. We will proceed step by step, traversing through real-life daily routines, from simple morning sentences to intricate afternoon descriptions, and finally, to advanced ways of analyzing emotions, experiences, and reflections about your day. Along the way, you will encounter complex sentence structures, sophisticated terminology, and fluency phrases that articulate native speakers utilize in everyday discourse. Our goal is not just for you to learn English, but for you to inhabit it. Whether you are recounting your morning rituals, describing the nuances of your work or academic endeavors, discussing social plans, or evaluating your emotional state, this lesson will equip you with the tools to organize your thoughts and speak with clarity and authority. By the conclusion of this video, you will possess the ability to narrate the full timeline of your day seamlessly, utilizing beginner foundations, intermediate elaborations, and advanced fluency expressions. Before we commence, please ensure you subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you never miss another daily English learning lesson designed to elevate your fluency, step by step. So, take a deep breath, relax your mind, and if possible, have a notebook and pen at the ready. Because today, you are not merely learning grammar. You are learning to craft the narrative of your day in fluent, sophisticated English. Let us begin. There is a profound sense of satisfaction when you can articulate your day in English, not merely in fragmented sentences, but in a manner that feels coherent, detailed, and expressive. Your day is essentially your story, and when you can describe it with precision, you unlock one of the most potent communication skills in the English language. Today, we commence gently, step by step, starting with the level of English accessible to every beginner, and gradually constructing toward the level of fluency that empowers you to speak with conviction in any situation. Let us begin with the morning, as every day originates there, and morning English is often the most accessible place to initiate practice. Imagine you have just awakened and someone inquires, "How was your morning?" A novice speaker might reply, "My morning was good." This is grammatically correct, simple, and clear. However, we can expand upon this incrementally. "I woke up early today. I arose at 7 a.m. I woke up feeling invigorated and relaxed." Do you perceive how each sentence adds a new layer of detail? This is the essence of fluency development, not by replacing simple English, but by architecting upon it. Now, let us practice together in a natural speaking rhythm. Repeat the following structures silently in your mind after hearing them. I started my day early. I performed my morning hygiene and prepared myself. I ate breakfast with my family. I sipped a cup of tea. I glanced at my phone immediately after waking. These are authentic daily sentences. When you practice them slowly and calmly, they become automatic in conversation. As your confidence grows, you begin linking actions together. Upon waking up, I proceeded to the kitchen. After brushing my teeth, I took a shower. Once I finished breakfast, I commenced my work. Linking actions together serves as the bridge between beginner and intermediate English, because real life does not occur in isolated sentences, it unfolds in sequences. Let us visualize a comprehensive beginner morning description together. Imagine you are recounting your day to a friend. Today, I woke up at 7 in the morning. I felt slightly drowsy, but I got out of bed quickly. I brushed my teeth, washed my face, and took a shower. Following that, I ate breakfast. I had eggs and toast and drank a cup of coffee. Subsequently, I dressed and prepared for my day. Notice how natural this sounds. This is the bedrock of daily English fluency. Now, let us expand the emotional layer, as advanced fluency pertains not only to actions, but also to feelings. Instead of solely stating, "I woke up early," you might say, "I woke up early, yet I still felt fatigued." Or, "I woke up early and felt extremely motivated." Emotions render your English human, expressive, and alive. Let us practice emotional morning expressions together. I woke up feeling energetic. I woke up feeling apprehensive about my work. I was reluctant to leave my bed because it was so comfortable. I felt enthusiastic about the agenda I had for today. When you incorporate feelings, your listener comprehends your experience, not merely your routine. Now, let us transition gently into intermediate elaboration. Imagine someone asks, "What do you typically do in the morning?" You could respond, "Generally, I awaken around 6:30. I prefer to stretch for a few minutes prior to getting out of bed. Then, I prepare a light breakfast and listen to music while eating. It assists me in starting my day calmly." Observe the rhythm, the detail, and the personal touch. This is conversational fluency developing organically. Practice this longer flow mentally. In the morning, I attempt to avoid checking my phone immediately. I prefer to sit quietly and organize my schedule. Occasionally, I jot down my objectives in a notebook. It makes me feel organized. This kind of English sounds contemplative, natural, and significantly more advanced compared to brief beginner replies. Now, let us construct vocabulary surrounding morning routines, as vocabulary infuses color into your sentences. Instead of always saying breakfast, you can say a quick bite, a nutritious meal, a hearty breakfast. Instead of tired, you might say exhausted, drowsy, drained. Instead of happy, you could say cheerful, thrilled, optimistic. Vocabulary diversity signals language growth. Let us integrate this vocabulary into a full speaking example. This morning, I awoke feeling slightly drained. Because I had slept late the previous night, I quickly freshened up and prepared myself a nutritious breakfast. While eating, I listened to a motivational podcast, which left me feeling more optimistic about the day ahead. This is already moving toward advanced fluency, and you are constructing it step by step. Now, let us engage in a guided speaking practice. Imagine you are speaking to me directly. Describe your morning utilizing this flow. Today, I woke up at. After waking up, I felt. Then I. Before starting my day, I. This guided structure trains your brain to think in English sequence. As your speaking becomes smoother, you begin incorporating temporal expressions. Initially, subsequently, afterward, finally. These connectors generate storytelling flow. For instance, initially, I was reluctant to wake up. Then, I remembered I had crucial work to do. After that, I quickly got ready. Finally, I left the house feeling prepared. Observe how your day transforms into a narrative. Now, imagine a slightly more advanced reflection. My morning did not proceed exactly as planned. I awoke late because my alarm failed to sound. I had to hasten through my routine. I skipped breakfast, which resulted in me feeling low on energy later. This form of expression demonstrates situational fluency, describing problems and consequences. Let us practice contrast sentences. Although I woke up late, I still reached work on time. Even though I felt fatigued, I accomplished my tasks. While my morning commenced poorly, it improved later. Contrast language is indispensable for advanced daily storytelling. Now, let us slow down and practice a full, layered morning description together. Allow the sentences to flow naturally in your mind. This morning, I awoke earlier than usual. Initially, I felt very drowsy and lacked the desire to get out of bed. However, after a few minutes, I compelled myself to wake up. I stretched my body, drank a glass of water, and proceeded to freshen up. Following that, I prepared a simple yet healthy breakfast. While eating, I contemplated my objectives for the day. It caused me to feel focused and mentally prepared. Do you perceive the journey? Action, feeling, reflection. That amalgamation creates fluent daily English. Now, let us transition gently toward describing the late morning, as your day does not cease after breakfast. Perhaps you commuted to your workplace, attended university, school, or remained at home. Each scenario generates new lexical opportunities. You might state, "Upon concluding my morning routine, I departed for work." Or, "I logged into my online classes." Or, "I commenced household chores." Daily life English adapts to your lifestyle, and fluency flourishes when you personalize it. Let us expand a work scenario. I arrived at my office around 9 a.m. I checked my emails first. Subsequently, I attended a team meeting. We discussed our weekly targets and upcoming projects. This is practical intermediate workplace English integrated into daily storytelling. Or, a student version, I arrived at college at 8:30. My initial lecture was regarding economics. I took detailed notes because the subject matter was significant. During the interval, I conversed with my classmates. Education-related vocabulary blends organically into daily routine speech. Now, let us add emotional reflections again. I felt productive throughout the morning meeting. I was apprehensive prior to my presentation. I felt relieved upon concluding my assignment. Emotional narration deepens fluency further. Now, practice a combined late morning description. Upon reaching my workplace, I felt slightly overwhelmed because I possessed numerous pending tasks. I commenced by organizing my workspace and planning my priorities. Once I formulated a task list, I felt more in command of my workload. This type of structured speaking exhibits cognitive fluency, describing thought processes, not merely actions. Take a moment now and mentally describe your own late morning. Where were you? What were you engaged in? What emotions did you experience? The more you personalize, the more natural your English becomes. This is how, step by step, your simple daily routine transforms into fluent English storytelling. As the day continues, your experiences commence to expand. This is where your English can grow richer, more descriptive, and more expressive, because the middle of the day often carries the most activity, the most interaction, and the most opportunities to speak. Imagine someone inquires, "How has your day been thus far?" A novice might reply, "My day is proceeding well." Simple, correct? But we can build upon it. "My day has been quite productive thus far. It has been engaging. It has been slightly stressful, yet manageable." Observe how one small inquiry opens the door to layered expression. Now, let us describe common afternoon routines. You might state, "In the afternoon, I typically concentrate on my most significant tasks." Or, "Following lunch, I feel more relaxed and ready to resume my work." Or even, "The afternoon is when I feel the most energetic." Each sentence reflects not only activity, but also personal rhythm. Let us slow down and construct a full afternoon description together. "After concluding my morning work, I took a short lunch interval. I had rice, vegetables, and some juice. The meal assisted me in recharging my energy. Following the meal, I took a brief stroll outside. The fresh air left me feeling rejuvenated. Subsequently, I returned to my work and continued my tasks." Notice the natural sequencing: action, effect, continuation. Now, let us add conversational interaction, as afternoons frequently involve communication, meetings, calls, and discussions. You might say, "In the afternoon, I participated in a meeting with my supervisor. I spoke with a client regarding a project update. I assisted my colleague in resolving a dilemma." These sentences reflect professional daily life English. Let us expand one scenario for fluency development. "In the afternoon, I engaged in an important session with my team. We deliberated on our progress and imminent deadlines. Initially, I felt slightly apprehensive because I was required to present my ideas. However, once I commenced speaking, I became more self-assured. My team valued my suggestions, which caused me to feel proud." This is advanced workplace narration integrated into daily storytelling. Now, let us explore student life afternoons. Following lunch, I attended my second lecture. The subject matter was challenging, so I was compelled to concentrate deeply. I asked my instructor a few questions to clarify my doubts. Later, I worked on an assignment in the library. Education-based routines construct academic vocabulary fluency. Let us practice emotional layering once more, as afternoons often test patience, focus, and mood. You might state, "By the afternoon, I commenced feeling weary. I felt mentally drained following continuous work." Or, "Despite being exhausted, I pushed myself to remain productive." Emotional resilience language reflects higher fluency. Now, let us construct contrast and cause-effect structures. Due to the fact that I skipped coffee in the morning, I felt lethargic in the afternoon. Since I had concluded my primary tasks earlier, I felt more relaxed later. Owing to a substantial workload, I was unable to take adequate breaks. These connectors add logical sophistication to your English. Let us engage in a guided fluency exercise. Imagine you are speaking at this moment. Describe your afternoon utilizing this flow. "In the afternoon, I generally pause. Today, I spent the majority of my afternoon. One interesting occurrence was that by the end of the afternoon, I felt." This structure trains narrative continuity. Now, let us expand vocabulary related to productivity. Instead of saying busy, you might say occupied, engaged, overloaded. Instead of tired, you could say fatigued, drained, burnt out. Instead of happy, you could say satisfied, accomplished, fulfilled. Vocabulary precision sharpens fluency perception. Let us embed that vocabulary into an advanced description. "My afternoon was extremely productive. I remained fully engaged in my tasks and managed to complete several pending assignments. Although I felt slightly fatigued by the conclusion, I also experienced a profound sense of accomplishment. This is how vocabulary elevates daily speech. Now, let us explore social interaction afternoons, as not every afternoon is dedicated to work or study. Occasionally, you meet friends, run errands, or relax. You might state, "In the afternoon, I met a friend for coffee. I went shopping. I visited my relatives. I spent time playing sports." Everyday life offers endless speaking material. Let us expand one social example. This afternoon, I ran into an old friend at a cafe. We had not seen each other in months, so we had much to discuss. We shared updates regarding our lives, careers, and future plans. The conversation made me feel nostalgic and elated. Emotional plus situational storytelling constructs conversational warmth. Now, let us integrate spontaneous events, as real fluency includes unanticipated moments. In the afternoon, something unforeseen occurred. My internet connection ceased functioning during a significant meeting. Initially, I panicked, but then I swiftly switched to mobile data and proceeded with the call. Problem solution narration is crucial for real-life English. Let us practice situational reflection. Although the issue stressed me initially, it instructed me to remain composed under pressure. Reflection sentences demonstrate mature fluency. Now, imagine a full, layered afternoon narrative. Allow it to flow naturally. Following the conclusion of lunch, I returned to my desk and resumed my work. I possessed several deadlines approaching, so I concentrated deeply. Around 3 p.m., I engaged in a virtual meeting with my team. We brainstormed concepts and shared feedback. The discussion was intense but productive. By late afternoon, I commenced feeling mentally exhausted, so I took a brief pause to refresh my mind. Do you perceive the rhythm? That is storytelling fluency forming. Now, let us shift slightly toward advanced descriptive language. Instead of stating, "I was occupied all afternoon," you could say, "My afternoon was packed with back-to-back responsibilities," or "I barely had a moment to myself," or "The hours elapsed without me noticing." Idiomatic phrasing signals advanced command. Let us practice idiomatic integration. I possessed such a volume of work that I was racing against the clock. I was juggling multiple tasks simultaneously. I felt under pressure, but I managed to stay on track. These phrases sound natural in professional conversation. Now, let us introduce reflective fluency, describing thoughts, not merely actions. During the afternoon, I realized how crucial time management is. I understood that strategizing my schedule earlier rendered my work less strenuous. It provided me with a sense of control over my responsibilities. Cognitive reflection deepens speaking sophistication. Let us engage in another guided speaking moment. Imagine someone asks, "What constituted the most challenging part of your afternoon?" You could reply, "The most challenging part was maintaining concentration after lunch. I felt drowsy, but I compelled myself to remain productive." Or, "Handling multiple tasks simultaneously was difficult, but it enhanced my multitasking capabilities." Now, let us combine all layers into one immersive description. My afternoon was both demanding and rewarding. I expended the majority of my time completing urgent assignments. At times, I felt overwhelmed by the workload. Nevertheless, I remained organized and managed my priorities efficiently. By the conclusion of the afternoon, I felt exhausted, yet satisfied with what I had accomplished. This equilibrium of action, emotion, reflection, and vocabulary is what transforms simple English into fluent daily narration. Take a moment now and mentally traverse your own afternoon. What did you do after lunch? Who did you converse with? What challenges did you encounter? How did you feel? The greater the detail you practice, the more fluent your storytelling becomes. And just like that, your day commences moving toward the evening, where emotions decelerate, reflections deepen, and conversations become more personal. As the afternoon gradually fades, your day begins transitioning into the evening. This part of the day carries a distinctly different emotional rhythm. The pressure of responsibilities begins to subside. Conversations become more relaxed, and your thoughts start shifting from productivity to introspection. Evening English is deeply expressive because it blends actions with feelings, routine with relaxation, and experience with evaluation. Imagine someone inquires, "What do you typically do in the evening?" A novice might state, "I watch television in the evening." Simple, clear, but we can expand it naturally. In the evening, I usually watch television to unwind. I enjoy viewing movies or listening to music. Occasionally, I go for a stroll. Each addition renders your English more descriptive and personal. Let us construct a smooth beginner evening narrative together. In the evening, I return home from work. I feel a little weary, so I take some rest. Subsequently, I have tea with my family. We converse about our day. Then, I watch television or utilize my phone for some time. This form of daily life description constitutes the core of conversational fluency. Now, let us gently expand the detail level. When I return home in the evening, the initial thing I do is change my attire and freshen up. It assists me in feeling relaxed following a long day. Then, I sit with my family and we share how our day transpired. These brief conversations cause me to feel emotionally connected. Notice how feelings enter the narrative once again. Evening English often includes family interaction vocabulary. You might state, "I assist my children with their homework. I invest time with my parents. I prepare dinner with my spouse. We sit together and view a program." These sentences reflect home life fluency. Let us expand one family interaction example. In the evening, I generally assist my younger sibling with their studies. They frequently struggle with English, so I guide them patiently. Instructing them also improves my own comprehension. It functions as bonding time for both of us. This displays relational storytelling. Now, let us explore relaxation activities, as evenings are strongly associated with unwinding. You might state, "In the evening, I go for a stroll in the park. I listen to soothing music. I read a book. Occasionally, I merely sit quietly and contemplate." These expressions add lifestyle depth. Let us construct an immersive relaxation description. Following dinner preparation, I like to step outside for a brief walk. The evening air feels refreshing. It assists me in clearing my mind following a busy day. Occasionally, I listen to podcasts while walking, which renders the experience both relaxing and productive. Lifestyle vocabulary enhances fluency realism. Now, let us introduce emotional decompression language. By evening, I usually feel mentally drained. I look forward to relaxing. Evenings feel peaceful to me. It is the time when I decelerate. These phrases describe psychological transitions. Let us practice contrast reflection. Although my day is hectic, my evenings are calm. Even if I feel fatigued, I still make time for my family. While work stresses me, evening relaxation balances my mood. Contrast language strengthens expressive fluency. Now, let us move toward dinner conversation English, as sustenance often becomes a central daily discussion point. You might state, "In the evening, I partake in dinner with my family. We usually eat together." Dinner is my preferred meal of the day. These are culturally universal speaking structures. Let us expand dinner narration. We typically assemble for dinner around 8 p.m. During dinner, we discuss what transpired throughout the day. Occasionally, we discuss news, plans, or family matters. It is the time when everyone reconnects. Communal vocabulary enriches storytelling. Now, let us layer advanced descriptive vocabulary. Instead of saying tired, you could say physically exhausted, mentally depleted, completely worn out. Instead of relaxed, you might say at ease, peaceful, unwound. Precision vocabulary signals advanced fluency. Let us embed that vocabulary into a full evening reflection. By the time evening arrives, I often feel mentally depleted from the day's responsibilities. Sitting with my family assists me in unwinding. Their presence brings a sense of peace that refreshes my energy. Emotional articulation deepens listener connection. Now, let us introduce hobby-related evening English, as hobbies are powerful conversation builders. You might state, in the evening, I practice the guitar. I paint. I engage in physical exercise. I acquire new skills online. These expressions reflect personal development. Let us expand a hobby narrative. In the evenings, I dedicate time to enhancing myself. Recently, I have been acquiring photography skills. I view tutorials, practice editing, and experiment with lighting. It provides me with a creative outlet beyond my daily responsibilities. This demonstrates intellectual fluency. Now, let us add social evening interaction. Occasionally, I meet friends in the evening. We go out for dinner. We sit at a cafe and converse for hours. It assists me in relaxing and disconnecting from work stress. Social fluency builds conversational warmth. Let us deepen that example. Last evening, I met two close friends after a prolonged period. We shared stories, laughed about old memories, and discussed our future goals. The conversation was so engaging that we didn't realize how rapidly time passed. Nostalgic narration reflects emotional fluency. Now, let us introduce unexpected evening situations. Yesterday evening, there was a power failure in my area. Initially, it was frustrating, but subsequently, my family gathered in one room and commenced talking. Surprisingly, it transformed into a memorable bonding moment. Turning problems into narratives strengthens storytelling ability. Let us move toward advanced evening reflection, as evenings are frequently when people think deeply. You might state, evenings are when I reflect on my day. I consider what proceeded well and what did not. I evaluate my progress. Reflective language signals higher cognitive fluency. Let us expand reflection narration. Every evening, I devote a few minutes to analyzing my day. I inquire of myself whether I utilized my time wisely. I reflect on my achievements and errors. This habit assists me in growing personally and professionally. Self-analysis vocabulary builds maturity in speech. Now, let us engage in a guided evening speaking exercise. Imagine you are responding to this. How do you typically spend your evenings? You could respond, my evenings are usually calm and structured. Upon returning home, I relax for a while, invest time with my family, and then focus on personal activities such as reading or acquiring new skills. It is the part of the day I value the most. Now, let us integrate all evening layers into one fluent narrative. Allow it to flow naturally. By the time evening arrives, I begin decelerating mentally. After returning home, I freshen up and sit with my family. We share tea and converse about our day. Later, I go for a short stroll to relax my mind. Following dinner, I either view something educational or work on personal development. Evenings feel peaceful because they permit me to reconnect with myself. Do you feel how storytelling deepens here? It is no longer just routine. It is experience, emotion, and reflection. Now, let us gradually transition toward late evening and night, where fluency becomes even more introspective, describing thoughts, plans, gratitude, and rest. Because discussing your day does not conclude when dinner ends. It concludes when you reflect on the entire journey. As the evening slowly turns into night, the pace of life softens even further. Conversations become quieter, movements become slower, and your thoughts begin gathering everything that transpired throughout the day. Nighttime English is deeply reflective because it allows you to summarize, evaluate, and emotionally process your experiences. Imagine someone asks, "What do you typically do at night?" A novice might answer, "I sleep at night." Clear, correct? But we can expand gently. At night, I eat dinner and subsequently go to sleep. Before sleeping, I utilize my phone. Occasionally, I view a movie prior to bed. These simple expansions already begin forming routine narration. Let us build a beginner nighttime description together. At night, I conclude my dinner and subsequently relax for some time. I watch television or scroll through my phone. Following that, I brush my teeth and prepare for bed. Then, I lie down and fall asleep. This is foundational daily life English. Now, let us expand detail and atmosphere. At night, after finalizing my responsibilities, I like to unwind gradually. I dim the lighting in my room and sit quietly for a while. Occasionally, I listen to soothing music. It assists me in relaxing mentally prior to sleeping. Night vocabulary often includes calmness and comfort. Let us introduce bedtime preparation language. You might state, "Prior to sleeping, I set my alarm. I arrange my attire for the following day. I organize my desk. I formulate my schedule." These habits demonstrate responsibility-based fluency. Let us expand one preparation narrative. Before retiring to bed, I always prepare for the subsequent day. I set my alarm, arrange my clothes, and formulate a short to-do list. This habit assists me in feeling organized and reduces morning stress. Planning vocabulary integrates productivity into daily storytelling. Now, let us introduce nighttime reflection, as this is where advanced fluency begins emerging strongly. You might state, "At night, I think about my day. I remember what I did. I reflect on my errors." Reflection language adds psychological depth. Let us construct a reflective narrative. Prior to sleeping, I devote a few quiet minutes to thinking about how my day transpired. I contemplate what I achieved and what I could enhance. It aids me in learning from my experiences and preparing mentally for tomorrow. Reflective fluency shows maturity in communication. Now, let us introduce gratitude expression, an advanced emotional layer. You might state, "At night, I feel grateful for my day. I appreciate the positive moments. I feel thankful for my family and well-being." Gratitude vocabulary enhances emotional articulation. Let us expand gratitude narration. Every night prior to sleeping, I remind myself of the things I am grateful for. Even if the day was stressful, I attempt to find at least one positive moment. This mindset assists me in sleeping peacefully. Emotional awareness strengthens advanced speaking ability. Now, let us introduce mental decompression language. By night, my mind feels overloaded. I feel mentally exhausted. Sleeping feels like a reset. Night English often includes recovery vocabulary. Let us integrate that into a narrative. By the time I go to bed, I often feel mentally exhausted from the day's responsibilities. Lying down feels comforting. It is as if my mind finally receives permission to rest. Figurative language signals higher fluency. Now, let us practice dream and sleep quality expressions. I fall asleep rapidly. I struggle to sleep occasionally. I sleep deeply. I wake up during the night. Sleep vocabulary frequently appears in daily conversation. Let us expand sleep description. Some nights, I fall asleep within minutes because I am physically tired. But on stressful days, my mind keeps thinking, rendering it harder to sleep. On such nights, I attempt breathing exercises to calm myself. Problem solution narration builds realism. Now, let us introduce advanced introspection. Nighttime is when I analyze my personal growth. I think about my long-term goals. I evaluate my progress in life. These reflections elevate conversation from routine to philosophical depth. Let us expand that layer. Late at night, when everything is quiet, I often contemplate my future. I inquire of myself whether I am moving in the right direction. These thoughts motivate me to improve myself daily. Purpose-driven fluency reflects an advanced speaking mindset. Now, let us construct a full, immersive night narrative together. Allow it to flow slowly, naturally. After concluding dinner, I invest some time in relaxing. I either view something light or converse with my family. Later, I prepare for the following day by setting my alarm and organizing my essentials. Before sleeping, I reflect on my day, the achievements, the challenges, and the lessons. Finally, I lie down, close my eyes, and permit my mind to drift into rest. Now, let us introduce emotional closure language. By the conclusion of the night, I feel calm. I feel satisfied. I feel hopeful about tomorrow. Closure expressions complete daily storytelling. Let us integrate that into a reflection. As I conclude my day, I feel a sense of closure. Regardless of how busy or difficult the day was, night brings emotional equilibrium. It reminds me that every day concludes and a new one commences. Philosophical fluency adds narrative depth. Now, let us practice a guided, full-day night summary. Imagine someone asks, "How was your day overall?" You could respond, "Overall, my day was quite productive. I fulfilled my responsibilities, invested time with my family, and also took time to relax. Although there were a few stressful moments, I managed them well. I feel satisfied as the day ends. Now, let us expand that summary toward advanced fluency. If I reflect on my entire day, I would say it was both challenging and fulfilling. I faced multiple responsibilities, acquired new knowledge, and shared meaningful conversations. Despite moments of fatigue, I managed them effectively. I feel grateful and motivated for tomorrow. This is where daily routine English transforms into life narrative English. Take a moment now and mentally traverse your entire day from morning to night. Notice how many actions you performed, how many emotions you felt, how many conversations you had. Every one of these is material for fluent English speaking. And when you learn to describe them smoothly, your fluency ceases to be academic and starts becoming personal. Because speaking English fluently is not about memorizing complex grammar. It is about narrating the story of your life clearly, confidently, and naturally. Now that we have traversed your day from morning to night, we begin moving into a deeper echelon of fluency, where you are no longer merely describing routines, but narrating your day as a complete life experience. Because when someone asks you, "Tell me about your day," they are not only asking what you did, they are asking how you lived those moments, how you felt, what you learned, and how the day shaped your thoughts. At a beginner level, you might respond simply, "My day was pleasant. I went to work, I returned home, and I slept." And that is perfectly adequate because fluency always commences with clarity. But as your English advances, your responses become more layered, more descriptive, more expressive. Let us slowly expand that same response. My day was quite productive. I fulfilled my work tasks on time. I engaged in meaningful conversations with colleagues, and I invested relaxing time with my family in the evening. Observe how the structure now includes achievement, interaction, and emotional closure. Now, let us move towards storytelling fluency. Imagine you are speaking to a friend who genuinely desires to know about your day. You might say, "Today was one of those days where everything felt accelerated. From the moment I woke up, I possessed responsibilities waiting. I barely had time to rest, but by the end of the day, I felt accomplished." This type of narration adds tempo and atmosphere. Let us practice adding situational detail. In the morning, I had an important presentation. I was apprehensive at first, but once I commenced speaking, my confidence grew. The presentation proceeded better than expected, which elevated my mood for the remainder of the day. This demonstrates situational storytelling. Now, let us explore challenge-based narration, as not every day proceeds smoothly. Fluency also necessitates expressing difficulties. You might state, "My day was quite stressful. I possessed multiple deadlines approaching, and I struggled to manage my time. At one point, I felt overwhelmed, but I took a short break and reorganized my priorities." Problem management language displays advanced speaking maturity. Let us expand emotional resilience vocabulary. Instead of saying stressed, you might say under pressure, mentally strained, overburdened. Instead of happy, you could say relieved, satisfied, content. These subtle variations signal linguistic sophistication. Now, let us integrate emotional transformation. Although my day commenced with stress, it gradually improved. Completing my tasks provided me with relief, and by evening, I felt emotionally lighter. Transformation storytelling adds a narrative arc. Let us introduce social storytelling once more. One of the highlights of my day was encountering an old friend unexpectedly. We had not conversed in years. Our discussion brought back so many memories. It reminded me how valuable friendships are. Personal moments enrich daily narration. Now, let us explore reflective learning expressions, as advanced speakers often discuss what they acquired from their day. You might state, "Today taught me the significance of patience. I realized that remaining calm assists in resolving problems more rapidly." Reflection language signals intellectual fluency. Let us expand that notion. Throughout the day, I encountered situations that tested my patience. Initially, I reacted emotionally, but later I realized that calm thinking generates superior outcomes. It was a small but meaningful lesson. Insight-based narration deepens storytelling depth. Now, let us practice future-oriented reflection. By the conclusion of the day, I felt motivated to enhance myself. I decided to manage my time more effectively tomorrow and concentrate more on my priorities. Planning language connects present experience with future growth. Let us move toward advanced vocabulary layering. Instead of saying busy day, you could say demanding day, eventful day, hectic schedule. Instead of good day, attempt fulfilling day, rewarding experience, memorable day. Precision vocabulary strengthens narrative tone. Let us embed that vocabulary into a full description. Overall, my day was demanding yet fulfilling. I faced several challenges, but overcoming them provided me with a sense of accomplishment. It reminded me that productivity frequently arrives with effort. Now, let us introduce time perception fluency, describing how the day felt rather than what happened. You might state, "The day flew by rapidly. Time seemed to move slowly. I did not realize how fast the hours elapsed." These phrases add experiential depth. Let us expand that. "My schedule was so packed that the day flew by without me noticing. By the time I glanced at the clock, it was already evening. It felt as if time accelerated." Perception vocabulary enhances storytelling immersion. Now, let us explore energy cycle narration. I commenced the day feeling energetic. By afternoon, I felt drained. But after resting in the evening, my energy returned. Physical and mental rhythm narration builds holistic fluency. Let us integrate that into a reflection. My energy fluctuated throughout the day. Morning motivation pushed me forward. Afternoon fatigue slowed me down, but evening relaxation restored my equilibrium. Balanced narration signals advanced expression. Now, let us practice a guided advanced speaking exercise. Imagine someone asks, "If you had to describe your day in one word, what would it be?" You might answer productive because I fulfilled important tasks, or challenging because I faced unexpected problems, or rewarding because I acquired valuable lessons. One-word summaries develop evaluative fluency. Let us expand that one-word reflection. If I had to describe my day in one word, I would say transformative, because I not only completed my work, but also acquired new insights about myself. This level of vocabulary signals near advanced fluency. Let us construct a full, immersive day story narrative. Let the sentences flow naturally. If I reflect on my day as a whole, it was filled with movement, responsibility, and reflection. From early morning commitments to late night thoughts, every phase carried its own experience. I encountered pressure, solved problems, shared conversations, and discovered moments of peace. By the time night arrived, I felt physically tired, but mentally enriched. Now, let us introduce gratitude meets growth reflection. Days like these remind me how critical balance is. Productivity matters, but so does emotional well-being. Learning to manage both is part of becoming mature. Philosophical fluency enhances narrative closure. Take a moment now and imagine describing your entire day to someone who truly cares about your life. You would not speak in short sentences. You would narrate, reflect, and express feelings. That is the level of fluency you are constructing. Because advanced English is not about complicated grammar, it is about meaningful storytelling. It is about turning your daily routine into a fluent life narrative. And as you practice this every day, your English ceases sounding learned and starts sounding lived. As your fluency continues to develop, the subsequent stage is learning how to discuss your day not solely as a story, but as a dialogue. Because in real life, you rarely speak in long monologues. Instead, you respond to inquiries. You add details when someone exhibits interest, and you adjust your description depending on who you are addressing. This conversational adaptability is what transitions you from structured speaking into natural communication. Imagine someone asking you casually, "So, how was your day?" At a beginner level, you might respond, "It was good." That is polite, but it concludes the conversation swiftly. To keep the interaction flowing, you expand slightly. "It was pleasant. I was quite occupied at work today. How about you?" Notice how you describe your day and return the question. That is conversational fluency in action. Now, let us construct a conversational expansion together. "It was great. I had a lot of tasks to complete, but I managed everything on time. How was yours?" Notice how you describe your day and inquire about the other person's. Now, let us practice a workplace dialogue narrative. Imagine speaking to a colleague. "My day was quite demanding. I had back-to-back meetings throughout the morning. By afternoon, I felt mentally exhausted, but we finally finalized the project plan." This exhibits professional situational fluency. If the colleague asks, "What constituted the most challenging part?" you might respond, "The most challenging part was presenting our progress report. I was under pressure because senior management was present, but it proceeded more smoothly than I anticipated." Pressure narration strengthens workplace communication. Now, let us explore academic conversational narration. A classmate asks, "How was college today?" You respond, "It was fascinating. We had a detailed lecture on economics. Initially, the topic felt complex, but once the professor elucidated it with examples, I understood better." Academic reflection builds intellectual fluency. Let us expand the dialogue flow. Following the lecture, I invested some time in the library working on my assignment. It required a substantial amount of research, but I felt satisfied once I completed it. Satisfaction language adds emotional closure. Now, let us introduce social life conversation. A friend inquires, "Did anything enjoyable transpire today?" You might state, "Actually, yes. I encountered an old friend unexpectedly during lunch. We had not spoken in years. It was such a pleasant surprise." Social storytelling enhances relatability. Let us deepen that narration. "We ended up conversing for almost an hour. We shared updates regarding our lives, careers, and aspirations." Moments like these make ordinary days feel special. Emotional warmth strengthens conversational engagement. Now, let us introduce negative day conversation fluency, as not every day is positive. If someone asks, "How was your day?" you might reply, "Honestly, it was quite stressful. I had too many responsibilities and insufficient time." Expressing difficulty is part of authentic fluency. Let us expand emotional honesty. There were moments when I felt overwhelmed, but I attempted to remain composed and focus on one task at a time. Eventually, I managed everything. Emotional resilience builds credibility in speech. Now, let us practice balanced response fluency. My day possessed both positive and challenging moments. Work was demanding, but investing time with my family in the evening balanced my mood. Balanced narration displays emotional intelligence. Now, let us explore conversational follow-up inquiries. After describing your day, you might ask, "How was your day? Did anything interesting happen? Were you busy, too?" Conversation is mutual storytelling. Now, let us introduce descriptive conversational vocabulary. Instead of stating very busy, you might say extremely hectic, packed with responsibilities, nonstop work. Instead of fun, you might say enjoyable, memorable, refreshing. Word choice shapes conversational tone. Let us embed vocabulary into dialogue narration. My day was extremely hectic. I barely had a moment to take breaks, but concluding my tasks gave me a refreshing sense of accomplishment. Emotional resolution strengthens narrative impact. Now, let us explore evening conversation narration. A family member inquires, "How did your day proceed?" You might respond, "It was productive overall. I managed my responsibilities well, although I felt weary by evening. I felt satisfied with what I achieved." Family conversation fluency often blends work and emotion. Let us expand home dialogue warmth. Discussing my day with my family helps me release stress. Their support makes difficult days feel lighter. Emotional sharing builds relational fluency. Now, let us introduce storytelling pacing techniques. Fluent speakers vary detail based on listener interest. If someone exhibits curiosity, you expand. If not, you summarize. For example, "My day was busy. I had an important client presentation." If they ask more, you continue. "I spent hours preparing for it, and thankfully it was successful." This adaptive narration is advanced fluency behavior. Now, let us practice spontaneous conversation simulation. Imagine this flow. "How was your day?" "Quite productive, actually. I completed my major tasks early." "That sounds excellent. Did anything challenging happen?" "Yes, I had to resolve a technical issue unexpectedly, but it taught me problem-solving skills." Real-life conversation includes exchange, curiosity, and elaboration. Now, let us explore emotional transparency in dialogue. "I won't conceal the truth. Today felt emotionally draining. I had a lot on my mind, but discussing it now makes me feel better." Emotional honesty deepens conversational connection. Now, let us introduce humor in daily storytelling. "My day was so occupied that I didn't even realize when lunchtime elapsed. I was essentially racing against the clock." Lighthearted exaggeration signals natural conversational ease. Let us expand narrative humor. "At one point, I had so many tabs open on my computer that even my laptop seemed stressed." Playful exaggeration signals natural conversational ease. Now, let us move toward reflective dialogue. Someone asks, "What did you learn today?" You might respond, "I learned that patience is essential. Rushing tasks only increases errors. Slowing down enhanced my productivity." Learning-based reflection shows maturity in speech. Let us expand growth reflection. Every day teaches something new. Today reminded me that staying organized diminishes stress significantly. Life lesson fluency enriches storytelling depth. Now, let us construct a full conversational day narrative. Let it flow naturally. If I were to summarize my day while conversing with someone, I would say it was a mix of productivity and reflection. Work kept me occupied throughout the morning and afternoon. I faced a few challenges but handled them calmly. By evening, spending time with family restored my energy. Overall, it was a fulfilling day. Now, pause mentally and imagine yourself having this exact conversation, speaking calmly, naturally, confidently, describing your day without searching for words. Because this is where fluency becomes conversational, not rehearsed. And once you can comfortably discuss your day in dialogue form, you can speak English in any real-life interaction. As your ability to describe your day conversationally becomes more natural, the subsequent level of fluency develops when you begin expressing deeper emotional nuance. Because advanced English is not solely about what transpired, it is about how intensely you experienced it, how situations affected your mood, your motivation, your energy, and even your mindset. Imagine someone asking you again, "How was your day?" But this time, instead of providing a general summary, you respond with emotional detail. You might say, "My day was emotionally exhausting, not because of physical work, but because I had to handle several mentally demanding situations." Notice how this response moves beyond routine description into psychological narration. Let us build emotional intensity vocabulary. Instead of stating tired, you might say emotionally drained, mentally fatigued, psychologically overwhelmed. Instead of happy, you could say deeply fulfilled, genuinely content, emotionally uplifted. These expressions signal advanced emotional fluency. Let us integrate emotional nuance into a full narrative. Today was one of those days that tested my patience. I had to remain composed in situations where I felt internally frustrated. By the conclusion of the day, I was emotionally drained, but also proud that I handled everything maturely. Emotional contrast builds narrative strength. Now, let us explore motivation-based storytelling, as some days energize you rather than exhaust you. You might state, "My day was incredibly motivating. I achieved goals that I had been postponing for weeks." Achievement vocabulary elevates storytelling tone. Let us expand that. Completing those tasks gave me a renewed sense of confidence. It reminded me that progress happens when we stay consistent. Reflection tied to achievement strengthens fluency impact. Now, let us introduce disappointment narration, an essential emotional category. You might state, "To be honest, my day did not proceed as planned. I faced setbacks that delayed my progress." Expressing disappointment authentically builds conversational realism. Let us expand emotional disappointment. "I possessed high expectations from a meeting today, but the outcome was not as positive as I had hoped. Initially, I felt discouraged, but later I reminded myself that setbacks are temporary." Emotional recovery narration signals psychological maturity. Now, let us explore stress management storytelling. Throughout the day, I encountered situations that could have easily overwhelmed me, but I consciously chose to remain composed. I focused on solutions rather than problems. Cognitive control vocabulary reflects advanced fluency. Let us deepen that reflection. I realized that stress frequently arises from overthinking. Once I simplified my perspective, handling responsibilities became easier. Insight-based narration enhances intellectual expression. Now, let us introduce excitement narration, because not all emotional intensity is negative. You might state, "Today was incredibly exciting. Something unexpected happened that made my entire day memorable." Excitement vocabulary energizes storytelling. Let us expand that. "I received news that I had been waiting for. When I heard it, I felt a surge of happiness. It instantly lifted my mood and made all my hard work feel worthwhile." Emotional climax narration adds dramatic depth. Now, let us explore gratitude meets struggle narration. "Even though my day was challenging, I still feel grateful because every challenge taught me something valuable." Balanced emotional framing shows reflective fluency. Let us construct that further. "I have started realizing that difficult days contribute more to personal growth than easy days. They build resilience." Philosophical interpretation elevates narrative sophistication. Now, let us practice a guided emotional fluency exercise. Imagine answering this: "What emotion defined your day?" You might say, "Resilience, because despite challenges, I remained strong." Or, "Gratitude, because I appreciated small positive moments." Or, "Motivation, because I made meaningful progress." One-word summaries sharpen evaluative fluency. Let us expand that. If I were to describe my day in one word, I would call it transformative, because I not only completed my work, but also acquired new insights about myself. Advanced vocabulary conveys psychological evolution. Now, let us integrate emotional nuance into a full, immersive narrative. Let it flow slowly. "My day was not just a sequence of tasks. It was an emotional journey. There were moments of pressure that tested my patience, moments of achievement that boosted my confidence, and quiet moments of reflection that deepened my understanding of myself. By night, I felt emotionally tired, but mentally stronger." Now, pause mentally and consider your own emotional journey today. Not just what you did, but what you felt. Because when you can express emotions clearly in English, your fluency becomes authentic, relatable, and human. As your fluency deepens further, the subsequent transformation occurs when your English begins sounding more natural, more native-like, and more stylistically rich. This is where idioms, phrasal verbs, and metaphorical expressions commence shaping how you discuss your day. Because native speakers rarely describe their routines in plain, literal language, they color their experiences with expressive phrasing that conveys emotion, intensity, and personality. Imagine someone asking you again, "How was your day?" At an advanced level, instead of stating, "I was very busy," you might say, "I was swamped with work," or "I had a lot on my plate," or even, "It was nonstop from morning till night." These idiomatic structures instantly make your speech sound more fluent and conversational. Let us explore idiomatic workload expressions. You could state, "My schedule was packed. I was juggling multiple responsibilities. I barely had a moment to myself." Each phrase paints a vivid picture of your day, rather than simply stating facts. Let us embed those into a narrative. "Today was incredibly demanding. I was juggling multiple responsibilities simultaneously. My calendar was packed with meetings, and I barely had time to catch my breath. Somehow, I managed to stay on track. Observe how idioms create storytelling energy. Now, let us introduce time pressure idioms. I was racing against the clock. Time slipped through my fingers. I was pressed for time all day. These expressions dramatize urgency. Let us expand that into narration. Throughout the afternoon, I felt as though I were racing against the clock. Deadlines were approaching swiftly, and every minute felt valuable. It compelled me to remain fully focused. Now, let us explore productivity idioms. I hit the ground running this morning, meaning you started your day energetically. I got the ball rolling early, meaning you initiated progress quickly. These phrases elevate professional storytelling. Let us integrate that. I hit the ground running today. I started working immediately after waking up. That early momentum helped me stay productive throughout the day. Now, let us move toward emotional idioms. Instead of saying, I was nervous, you might say, I had butterflies in my stomach, or I felt on edge. Emotional idioms humanize storytelling. Let us expand that. Prior to my presentation, I had butterflies in my stomach. My hands felt slightly cold, but once I commenced speaking, my confidence settled in. Now, let us introduce success idioms. Everything fell into place. The plan worked like a charm. It turned out better than expected. These phrases express achievement smoothly. Let us embed that into narration. After weeks of preparation, the project presentation finally transpired today. Thankfully, everything fell into place. The feedback was positive, and I felt deeply satisfied. Now, let us explore difficulty idioms. I hit a snag. Things didn't go according to plan. I had to think on my feet. These expressions narrate challenges dynamically. Let us expand. Midway through my work, I hit a snag. A technical issue disrupted my progress. I had to think on my feet and discover an alternative solution rapidly. Now, let us introduce recovery idioms. I bounced back. I got back on track. I picked myself up. These phrases express resilience. Let us expand that. Although the morning didn't commence well, I bounced back by afternoon. I reorganized my tasks and regained productivity. Now, let us introduce relaxation idioms. I unwound in the evening. I took it easy. I put my feet up. These phrases express decompression naturally. Let us embed that into a narrative. After a hectic day, I finally put my feet up in the evening. I listened to music and permitted myself to unwind. Now, let us move toward metaphorical day descriptions. Instead of literal narration, you describe the day symbolically. You might say, my day felt like a roller coaster. It was a marathon, not a sprint. It felt like navigating through waves. Metaphors add storytelling artistry. Let us expand metaphorical narration. Today felt like a roller coaster ride. There were moments of stress that climbed steeply, followed by moments of relief that brought me back down. It was emotionally intense but memorable. Now, let us introduce energy metaphors. By afternoon, my battery was running low. I felt recharged after resting. Technology metaphors are common in modern English. Let us embed that. After back-to-back meetings, my mental battery was running low. Taking a short walk assisted me in recharging. Now, let us practice guided idiomatic fluency. Imagine describing your day utilizing at least 3 idioms. My schedule was packed. I was racing against the clock. But by evening, everything fell into place. This layered idiomatic narration signals high conversational fluency. Now, let us integrate idioms, phrasal verbs, and metaphors into one immersive narrative. Let it flow naturally. I hit the ground running this morning. My schedule was packed, and I was juggling multiple responsibilities. By afternoon, I felt as though I were racing against the clock. At one point, I hit a snag, but I thought on my feet and got back on track. By evening, I finally put my feet up and allowed myself to unwind. Looking back, the day felt like a roller coaster, exhausting but fulfilling. Now, pause mentally and notice how different this sounds from beginner narration. It is vivid, expressive, and dynamic. Because advanced fluency is not solely about speaking correctly, it is about speaking colorfully, transforming ordinary routines into compelling narratives. And as you bring all these layers together, your ability to discuss your day transforms into something far more powerful than simple conversation. It becomes a complete narrative skill, one that enables you to describe actions, express emotions, reflect on lessons, and connect daily experiences to your future direction. This synthesis is what defines advanced fluency, because you are no longer speaking in isolated sentences. You are communicating lived experience. Imagine now that someone asks you to describe your entire day from beginning to end, not in short replies, but as a continuous story. At this stage, your narration flows naturally. You might commence by describing your morning energy, how you woke up, how your mindset shaped the start of your day. Then, move into the responsibilities that defined your afternoon, the challenges you encountered, the interactions you had, and the lessons that quietly formed in the background of those moments. You might say, if I traverse through my day from the beginning, it commenced with a sense of purpose. I woke up early feeling determined to make the most of my time. My morning routine helped me organize my thoughts, and that clarity followed me into my work. As the day progressed, responsibilities intensified. Meetings, conversations, and tasks demanded my attention. At times, I felt pressure building, but I remained focused on solutions rather than stress. Notice how fluency here is no longer about vocabulary alone. It is about sequencing thoughts, connecting experiences, and guiding the listener through your day as if they were living it alongside you. You might continue. By afternoon, my energy fluctuated. There were moments when fatigue set in, but I reminded myself why I started. That inner dialogue helped me push forward. I completed my tasks steadily, one responsibility at a time, and gradually the pressure began to ease. As your day moves toward evening in your story, emotional balance begins to appear. You describe returning home, transitioning from productivity to personal connection, sharing moments with family, or finding peace in solitude. Evening brought a slower rhythm. I allowed myself to unwind. I engaged in meaningful conversations with loved ones, and those simple interactions dissolved the stress I had carried throughout the day. And as night enters your narration, reflection becomes the centerpiece. Before sleeping, I reflected on everything that had transpired, the achievements that made me proud, the challenges that made me stronger, and the lessons that shaped my mindset. I realized that even an ordinary day carries extraordinary growth when viewed closely. At this level, you are not just describing your day, you are interpreting it. You are extracting meaning from routine. You are transforming daily life into thoughtful communication. Now, imagine narrating your day, not only factually, but symbolically. You might say, "My day felt like a journey, one that commenced with motivation, climbed through pressure, paused in reflection, and settled into gratitude by night." Metaphorical narration signals complete expressive fluency. You might even connect your day to life philosophy. Days like these remind me that progress is not always immediately visible, but every effort contributes quietly to long-term growth. This type of insight-driven speaking reflects mastery. And when you combine all elements, routine description, emotional awareness, idiomatic expression, reflective insight, and future vision, your English becomes multidimensional. You can describe a simple breakfast or a life lesson drawn from a stressful meeting. You can talk about feeling weary or about emotional resilience built through responsibility. You can narrate a routine or tell the story of your personal evolution through a single day. Let us now bring everything into one complete, immersive narrative flow, allowing every fluency layer to merge naturally. If I reflect on my day as a whole, it felt like a full cycle of experience. I started the morning with clarity and intention, organized my thoughts, and stepped into my responsibilities with focus. As the hours progressed, challenges emerged that tested my patience and adaptability. There were moments when pressure felt overwhelming, yet I navigated them with calm determination. By afternoon, my energy wavered. However, I continued moving forward, driven by my goals. Evening arrived as a gentle pause, offering space to reconnect emotionally and mentally. Conversations with loved ones restored balance within me, and as night settled in, reflection brought perspective. I realized that every task, every conversation, and every challenge contributed to my growth. By the time I closed my eyes, I didn't just feel tired, I felt fulfilled, aware that even an ordinary day had quietly shaped the person I am becoming. When you can speak like this, your fluency is no longer limited by level labels such as beginner or advanced, because you have mastered the full spectrum. You can speak simply when needed. You can expand when invited. You can reflect when thoughtful. You can narrate when expressive. And most importantly, you can tell the story of your day any day with clarity, emotion, and confidence. And that ability, practiced daily, transforms English from a subject you study into a language you live. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today on English in Moments. I truly hope that this lesson assisted you in feeling more confident about talking about your day in English, from simple beginner sentences to more detailed intermediate expressions, and all the way to advanced reflective storytelling. Remember, fluency does not materialize overnight. It grows when you practice speaking about real life, your routines, your emotions, your thoughts, and your experiences. So, make it a habit to describe your day in English every single day, even if it is just for a few minutes, because the more you speak about your life, the more natural your English will become. Keep learning, keep practicing, and most importantly, keep believing in your progress, because every sentence you speak brings you one step closer to true fluency. I will see you in the next lesson. Goodbye.